Hey everyone, welcome back. You ready to talk some golf?
Always ready for some golf talk.
Awesome. Well, today we're diving deep into the world of AI in golf. Specifically, we're going to be looking at SportsBox AI, which
Mhm.
is this 3D motion capture tool that's been making waves. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz around this one.
there is a lot of buzz, and for good reason, it seems, right?
Right.
And we've got a bunch of videos from their YouTube channel, all kinds of stuff, tutorials, explanations, even a pro coach showing how they use it. So,
Yeah, and what's really cool about this deep dive is we're not just going to talk about like the theory, right?
yeah.
We're going to actually see it in action. Like, how do you use the app? What kind of data does it capture?
Right. And I think the most important thing is, does this actually translate into you hitting the ball farther and straighter and lowering your score?
Yeah, I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right?
That's the one. So by the end of this, you'll not only understand how SportsBox AI works, but also maybe kind of see how this is changing the way people learn and train AL golfers, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having a team of analysts in your pocket,
You
right?
see?
Breaking down your swing in ways that were previously only available to elite athletes.
So, okay, let's just start with the basics. What is SportsBox AI?
Yeah, so it's 3D motion capture, but simplified, right? We've all seen those motion capture suits they use in
The
Hollywood.
ones with like little balls all over them?
Exactly, exactly.
This is not that.
No, this is just using your phone's camera.
Okay, so I just record myself swinging.
Yep. You record your swing, and their AI creates basically a virtual version of you, like an avatar.
An avatar account.
And it's capturing all sorts of data points as you move. Like, we're talking club head speed, hand speed, even how efficiently you transfer energy throughout your swing.
Okay.
They call these game factors.
Gain factors. All right, so that's a new one.
Yeah, so basically think of it like this. Your swing is a chain reaction, right?
Okay.
Starts from your feet all the way up to the club head. Gain factors tell you how well you're moving that energy through each link in the chain, your pelvis, your chest, your arms, and finally into that golf ball.
So the higher those numbers, the better.
Exactly. It's about maximizing the energy you generate. You're not losing it along the way.
Okay, so that's all about power, but what about injury prevention? I mean, we don't want to just be hitting the ball far.
Right, and that's what's so fascinating about this. They actually have something called a swing physical score.
Okay,
So this isn't just about hitting the ball farther, it's about actually analyzing your swing to identify potential injury risks.
See, that's what I was getting at. That seems like something that a lot of people don't think about.
Right, like most golfers I know, they're so focused on like improving their swing, they don't think about like the long-term impact on their body.
I just want to crush it.
Exactly. And so this is huge. I mean, it's like having a virtual physical therapist in your pocket,
Oh, wow.
assessing your mechanics and highlighting potential red flags before they become serious problems.
Okay, that's huge. I'm sold. I want this app. So walk me through it. Like, how do I actually record my swing? What do I do?
Okay, so first think about like your environment. The app actually has a really neat low light mode, which is super helpful if you're, practicing indoors or maybe at a simulator where the lighting can be tricky.
Oh, nice. I've got a net in my garage, so that would be good for me.
Perfect. Then you're going to select the player and the club that you're using, making sure your camera's set up for like a face-on view that gives you the best results. And then, it's go time.
Okay, so I just hit record and take a swing.
You have options. You can do that, or they have an auto capture mode, which basically will automatically detect your swing and start recording.
Okay.
Or you can go manual if you want more control over the process. But here's the catch. It needs to be in slow motion.
In slow-mo. Why?
Well, it's all about those subtle movements, right? So regular speed video just doesn't have enough like frames per second for the AI to accurately analyze everything that's going on.
Makes sense.
So slow motion gives it the data it needs to pick up on those like tiny, tiny details that can make a big difference.
So I guess if I'm out on the range with my buddies, I can't just, like, record them.
Yeah.
Unless they're swinging in slow-mo, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. So I record my swing, the app does its thing, and then what?
Then the app takes over, right?
Okay.
It creates that avatar we talked about and starts breaking down all those data points we talked about. But let's get into all that juicy stuff in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so now we've recorded our swing, and we're staring at a screen full of data, and honestly, I'm a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in the numbers, right?
It is. It is. Like, where do we even start?
Well, I think, a good place to start is those game factors we were talking about, right?
Gain factors.
Remembering how, efficiently you're transferring energy throughout your swing.
Okay, so remind me again,
hmm
why is that so important?
Well, think of it this way. Like, your swing isn't just about arm strength.
Right.
It's a whole body movement.
Okay.
And the more efficiently you can transfer energy from your legs and your core all the way up through your arms, and into the club head,
hmm
that's where you get the power.
Okay, so like a ripple effect, kind of.
Yeah.
Starting from the ground up.
Exactly. And the gain factors, they break it down into those segments, showing you, like, okay, here's where you might be losing a little bit of power along the way. Like, for example, if you have a low core gain factor, that might mean you're not really engaging your lower body properly.
Gotcha. And so that's costing me distance.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not just about power, right? It's also about consistency
Right.
and smoothness. A
Right.
good energy transfer, it's going to lead to a more repeatable swing.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So how does the app actually show you all this? Like, what am I looking at here?
Well, it visualizes it in a really intuitive way. You'll see graphs and charts that break down your game factors, and you can compare them to like benchmarks for your skill level.
Okay.
They also have this really cool feature called kinematic sequencing.
Kinematic sequencing. That sounds a little intimidating.
It sounds complicated, but it's actually really simple. Basically, it's a stick figure animation of your swing showing the timing and sequence of how your body's moving. So you can see like, okay, how are my hips rotating? How are my arms extending? When are my wrists releasing the club?
So I can see if I'm like swaying too much or if my arms are like out of sync with my body, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
And what's really neat is you can actually overlay your kinematic sequence with like professional golfers.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a side-by-side comparison.
So I can see how a pro swings versus me.
Exactly.
Oh, man. That would be so motivating. Like, all right, there's the blueprint right there.
It's really cool. And again, it's not just about like mimicking their movements, right? It's about understanding the principles behind their technique and then seeing, okay, how can I apply that to my own swing?
Okay, okay. So we've got gain factors, kinematic sequencing. Is there anything else that kind of stands out in terms of data analysis?
Yeah, there's a bunch of other metrics. They look at things like lead wrist angle, mid-hand sway. Those can be really helpful in like pinpointing like specific swing flaws. But the one that really impressed me is that swing physical score.
Oh, yeah, the injury prevention thing.
Exactly. And what's great about it is it's not just like a vague warning, like, hey, you're at risk.
Right.
It actually analyzes things like your spine angle, your hip rotation, your shoulder movement to pinpoint like, okay, here are the specific areas where you might be putting excess strain on your body.
So it's telling me why, not just that I'm at risk.
Exactly. And then, it even provides like recommendations like, okay, here are some corrective exercises. Here are some drills you can do to kind of, improve your mechanics and reduce that risk of injury.
Wow, I'm really starting to see how powerful this could be, not just for like getting better, but also just staying healthy, so I can play golf for a long time.
And that's the ultimate goal, right? To be able to play this game we love without being, sidelined by an injury.
For sure. But, data is only good if you actually know what to do with it, right?
Yeah.
So how does this app help you like translate all this analysis into, actually getting better out on the course?
Well, that's where the rubber meets the road, right?
Right.
And they have a couple really innovative features that kind of take it beyond just analysis. One of them is called monitor mode.
Monitor mode, okay.
Yeah, so basically it's like having a virtual coach watching your every swing. So you set up your phone, you select the club you're using, you start hitting balls, and the app is capturing your swing in real time and analyzing it like on the fly, giving you instant feedback.
So it's giving me data as I'm swinging.
As you're swinging, it's incredibly powerful. You
Wow.
can see things like your club head speed, your swing path, your impact angle right there on your phone. And it's not just numbers, right? You're getting like visual representations too. Like you'll see the 3D avatar mimicking your movements.
Okay.
You'll see like a trajectory line showing the path of your club head.
So it's like having a mirror, but a really high-tech mirror.
Exactly, exactly. And that real-time feedback allows you to like, make adjustments on the fly. You can experiment with different techniques. You see the results immediately, and you can really dial in your swing.
That takes practice to a whole other level. I mean, I can see myself just getting obsessed with this, like tweaking things until I get it just right.
And that's what's great about it, right? It makes your practice more focused. You're not just out there mindlessly hitting balls. You're actively working on improving
Right.
specific aspects of your
But
swing.
let's be real. Not everybody's going to be like, obsessed with analyzing their swing like that. What about those of us who just want to play better golf and not get too deep in the weeds?
Well, they've thought of that too. So they actually have this really cool feature that integrates with the golf shafts.
Wait, golf shafts, like
Yeah.
the ones that cost a fortune.
The same ones.
Yeah.
But this isn't about like buying those expensive shafts.
Mm.
It's about finding the right shaft for your swing.
Okay.
So it analyzes your data, looks at things like your club head speed, your swing tempo, to recommend a shaft that could be a good match.
So it's like a virtual fitting. Like it can tell me if I need to play a stiffer shaft or something like that.
It's a great starting point. Of course, nothing replaces like a professional in-person fitting, where they can see your ball flight, make adjustments in real time, but this can help you understand like the basics of shaft fitting and maybe narrow down your options before you go see a pro.
So it's like having a fitting assistant in your pocket.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, so it can help you get on the right track. But even with all these amazing features, I think the most important thing is how SportsBox AI helps you set goals and track your progress.
Right, because data is one thing, but actually using it to get better, that's that's the whole point.
That's what it's all about. And their goal setting and progress tracking system it's really well done.
Hmm.
So you can set goals for specific metrics like I want to increase my club head speed, I want to improve my impact angle, and the app will actually track your progress over time.
Okay.
You'll see graphs, you'll see charts showing, okay, how are my numbers trending?
So they can actually see if I'm getting better.
You can see tangible evidence of your improvement, and that's incredibly motivating.
It's like having a scorecard for your swing improvement.
Exactly. And it's not just about like the raw data, it's about seeing that data translate into, actual progress and achieving the goals you've set.
I like it. Okay, so it's tracking, it's giving me feedback. Like, what else can it do?
Well, it even provides like qualitative feedback too, right? So it'll highlight specific areas where you're making progress, and then it'll also offer suggestions for like, okay, here's what you could work on next.
So it's almost like having a coach in your pocket.
It's really powerful. I mean, that's the beauty of this technology. It's not just about analyzing your swing. It's about empowering you to take control and become the best golfer you can be.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm pretty pumped up about this. This is really cool stuff. But I have one more question. Can you really improve your swing with just your phone? Or do you still need a real coach?
That's a great question, and it's one that a lot of golfers are asking. So let's explore that in the final part of our deep dive.
All right, so we talked about how SportsBox AI analyzes your swing, breaks down all that data, even helps you practice more effectively. But I think the big question here is, does this mean, like, coaches are out of business? Like, can an app really replace a human expert?
That's a question a lot of people are asking, and I honestly think it's the wrong way to look at it. Like, this technology isn't about replacing coaches, it's about empowering them.
Okay, empowering them. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Coaches already use like video analysis to help their students, right? But that can be so time consuming. With SportsBox AI, they have like instant access to all this data, all these insights. It's like having a team of analysts like crunching numbers and spotting things that, maybe the human eye just misses.
So instead of, like, spending hours looking at video, a coach can use this to get a much faster understanding of what's going on with their student's swing.
Exactly. Like way more detailed and quicker, which frees up more time to actually, do what coaches do best, interpret that data, make a plan, and then work with the student.
Okay, so it's like their secret weapon, basically.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just about in-person coaching, right?
Right.
Think about the potential for remote coaching. Like a student could be anywhere in the world, record their swings, send that to their coach, get feedback, all without ever having to be in the same room.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that opens up a lot of possibilities.
It does.
For sure, for sure. Okay, well, let's switch gears for a second and talk about something you mentioned earlier, the Le Golf shaft fitting.
Mhm.
Like, how accurate can that really be? Can an app really tell me what shaft I should be playing?
It's a great tool, but you got to be realistic. It's not going to be as accurate as like a real fitting with a pro, right? Where they can actually see your ball flight and make those adjustments in real time.
So more of a starting point, you'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Like a way to kind of narrow down your options and get a better understanding of like, okay, what might actually work for me.
Hmm.
So the app looks at your swing data. It considers things like your club head speed, your tempo, and it suggests a shaft that could help you get the most out of your game.
So it's not just about finding the right flex. There's more to it than that.
Way more to it than that. Yeah, shaft fitting can be complicated. There's a lot of factors, but this can at least help you avoid buying something that's totally wrong for you.
Right, right. Okay, so like a virtual fitting assistant in your pocket.
Exactly. And it's just one example of how technology is making golf like more accessible,
Yeah.
more understandable for everyone. But even with all this, all the data, all the fitting tools, we can't forget about the human element of this game.
What do you mean by that?
Golf's a mental game too, right? Like
Yeah.
no app can replace the feeling of hitting that perfect shot or being out there with your friends, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, totally.
Like it's about the experience, the challenge, just the joy of being out on the course.
So true. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into SportsBox AI, what would you say is the one thing you want our listener to take away from this?
Honestly, I think the biggest takeaway is just that technology is changing golf like in a big way, but it's not about replacing the things we love about it. It's about like enhancing them, giving us the tools to play smarter, stay healthier so we can enjoy it for longer.
Couldn't agree more. It really is an exciting time to be a golfer, and I can't wait to see what's next. So to our listener, I just encourage you to embrace this new era. Don't be afraid to experiment with new tech, and most importantly, never stop learning.
And never stop loving this game.
Well said. All right, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.